Hi everyone, welcome back. So my name is Julia. If you've never tuned into my channel before, I talk about fragrance on here, and I would absolutely love it if you subscribe and hit the notifications bell. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Today we are going to be talking about 3 new fragrance releases, perfumes that have been talked about a lot in the fragrance community, but also these are actually launches that I feel the brands have done a lot of promotion for. I think I've tried them all in the store, but I'm going to just give myself a little bit more time now to do a live sniffing and just give you guys my immediate feedback. The first one I want to talk about is this one by Yves Saint Laurent, and it's called Libre Intense. They released the Libre, I think it was last year it came out. I honestly wasn't like blown away by it. I know it's gotten a lot of traction in the fragrance community, so I know some people like obviously really love this scent. And now they have just released the different concentrations. So they released the, I think it's an eau de parfum they released, and now they released the eau de parfum intense. I don't like when brands do that. Like they'll often release like a sort of a weaker version of a fragrance, and then they'll release like the intense version like a year later. And this is all, they already knew this. When they formulate this new fragrance, they already know this. Like the marketing team knows that in a year from now, the intense version is going to come out. And it's really kind of frustrating because if you, for example, if you had bought the original Libre and now the intense version comes out, then you kind of feel like maybe a little bit cheated because maybe you did want you know, the intense one. Like most people who are into fragrance want the intense one. Sometimes the different concentrations have different notes, but usually they're the exact same notes and just more and more intense. Like that's the whole point of a reconcentration. So I go into this a little bit more in detail in my fragrance 101 video. I will try and remember to link that because I go into like what that means, like a reconcentration. So it says in here, the iconic structure of Libre, a tension between the lavender from France and the orange blossom from Morocco, reinterpreted in a suave and sensual way. The intensity of a melting floral core where orange blossom flower, absolute, and blazing orchid accord fuse. The main notes are orange blossom flower, lavender, and orchid accord. So orchid accord means to me it's like a fantasy accord. Again, check out my fragrance 101 video. I will go into detail what that means. An accord. Accord is not the same as a note. So this is basically supposed to be a modern feminine fougère family fragrance. So the top notes in here, it says, are lavender, mandarin orange, and bergamot. So it has a kind of citrusy lavender opening. And then the mid notes are orange blossom, the orchid accord, jasmine, and then the base is ambergris, tonka bean, vetiver, and vanilla. I personally do not like lavender notes in fragrances, and that cuts out so many fragrances because it is one that's often in there. They always kind of remind me of bedtime. Like I associate lavender with like bedtime. I just don't find this super like memorable. I think that's also why I couldn't really remember the original Libre. I can see why this would be popular because it's just kind of a very easy to wear fragrance. Like this, I think would be great for wearing to work if you work in an office. It is actually quite sweet. Fougère, I guess I don't really think of a sweet fragrance, but I guess they're trying to make it a little bit more feminine, so they've added some sweet notes. I think the vanilla is actually quite prominent in here. So it says here that it's supposed to be mainly like orange blossom, lavender, and orchid accord. I mean, who even knows what orchid accord is supposed to smell like? Like, I really don't know what that's supposed to smell like. It's just sort of like a random floral note, I guess. It's maybe supposed to be like exotic smelling. I just feel like this is a sweet lavender fragrance with like a citrusy element to it and a sort of very generic floral element to it. Very middle of the road floral element with the quite strong lavender note, and then I get quite a bit of citrus from here. I don't see myself purchasing this as a full bottle. I think this could be a very good easy reach for some people. If you work, like I said, in an office or something, you might really enjoy this. And I think this is a scent that a lot of people would find very non-offensive. It's just kind of like pleasant. It's kind of fresh. It's like pleasant. It's a little bit floral. I don't find it very distinct, I guess. Okay, so the next one I'm going to test is the Idole Intense by Lancome. So again, another reconcentration of a fragrance that has already come out. Lancome and Yves Saint Laurent, I'm pretty sure, are owned by L'Oreal. I feel like these two launched almost at the same time, and now they came out with the reconcentration, and it's just a way for them to like make money again without really coming up with a new fragrance. I feel like it's just a little bit of a cop out, and I know a lot of brands do that. This is the one that has the very tall, very thin bottle. I think from a visual standpoint, the bottle does look very interesting. Also, the bottle of the Libre, I think, is beautiful. Like, the bottle alone is so eye-catching, and it is one that I picked up just because of the bottle. It's so interesting, a modern design. I think it fits really well with what they're trying to achieve. Like, they're trying to do a very modern take on a fougère, and a fougère is kind of more of like a classic scent DNA. And I think with the Idole, it's the same. Like, the bottle is very unique. It's very tall. I've heard from a lot of people who have the Idole that it tips over a lot because it's so long and thin. It's not very stable, and it will literally fall over. And because it's glass, not very practical, I guess. It's a Chypre floral fragrance. So the top notes in here are bitter orange and mandarin orange. And then the mid notes are musk, jasmine, rose, and then the base notes are vanilla, sandalwood, acacia, cashmere wood, cedar, and patchouli. Okay, the opening is very citrusy. I definitely smell the citrus and a lot of rose. I'm getting a lot of rose in here. I'm getting like a very citrusy rose at the moment. I mean, I won't be able to give you like the full dry down because this is just really the first impression. The patchouli is not strong in here at all. I'm kind of hoping there was a bit more of a patchouli vibe because I do like patchouli. I like this one so far better than the Libre, and I do like rose as a note. It's, again, quite sweet. Right now, I'm just really getting a citrusy rose, like an orangey citrus. It's not like a lemony, super bright lemony. It's like that orange note, like the mandarin orange and the rose. To me, it smells a little bit soapy, like a very expensive rose soap. Do I like this? It's okay. Again, it's like, it's nice. I wouldn't be like rushing out to go and buy a bottle because I feel, honestly, I feel like it's just kind of nondescript again. It could be so much more. And this is really kind of the issue I have with a lot of designer launches lately. Like, the last 5 years of designer launches have just been so safe and very lackluster. Maybe it's just because as I'm getting more into fragrance, like, my nose is maturing. You know, I can smell different things, and I can tell when a fragrance has more complex notes in it and has more challenging elements to it. And I feel, honestly, like a lot of fragrances now that are being released in the designer world, they do not challenge me. They just don't interest me because there's nothing in them that makes me go, oh my gosh, like, I've never smelled that before, or wow, like, can you smell that really interesting special note, you know, that I don't smell so often, or like an interesting combination of notes that I've never really smelled together. I do still buy designer, but a lot of them have been scents that have been around for a while. Like, they're not new creations. Like, they're scents that have maybe been around for 10 years or more. Back then, especially like 80s and 90s, like, the designer fragrances were so much more complex, and they were more robust and kind of challenging and in your face, and had depth and had an edge to them. I wouldn't go out and buy a bottle of this because it's just not, to me, unique. I'm just getting like an orangey rose with the jasmine and sweet, like a random sweet element in it. I can't even really pinpoint what I'm smelling, you know, like, it just kind of all blends together. Like, I'm not saying you're gonna not smell good, because you are gonna smell good. It's, again, one that I would say is like safe to wear to work. You know, if you wear this, nobody's going to complain about it. And then the last one I have here is this one by Giorgio Armani. And this is My Way. This is one that they've just done a lot of promotion for. This is bergamot and orange blossom, tuberose and jasmine, cedarwood, white musk, and vanilla. This is an eau de parfum. So again, now I'm kind of thinking, are they going to come out with the eau intense like next year? Probably. I don't understand, like, why was this even released? This to me is so boring. It smells super sweet. It smells really synthetic. Gummy bears. I'm just getting the Haribo, you know, the Haribo gummy bears, and you open up like the bag and you just take a whiff and you get that random sweetness and it smells very like artificial, but it kind of makes your mouth water at the same time. Like it smells really good, but it also smells very artificial. I think it's like the tuberose and the jasmine or something that just smells so odd in this, because I like tuberose and I like jasmine, but this is definitely not my thing. And I don't understand the name My Way. When I read My Way, I just have that Sinatra song in my head. And that's not really a song I want to have in my head all day. Like, I think the bottle is pretty. You know, looking at the bottle here, I think the bottle is nice. And I've actually looked at it in store, and I've tried it in store, and I've like worn it on my skin and stuff. The blue, but then the pink. That's the other thing I noticed is like a lot of these fragrances now for women are like pink. Like the juice is actually pink. I don't know, that's like another thing I don't really like about it. This pink juice that it kind of just adds to the whole artificialness of it. So I'm sorry, like if you like this fragrance, like go ahead, you know, this is really just my opinion. I think it's very artificial, and it smells like Haribo gummy bears, like the factory where it's made. It's so surprising because I think Giorgio Armani does make really nice fragrances. I like a lot of the fragrances that they make for men. They make beautiful men's fragrances. It's really different for Armani, but not in a good way. I think this reminds me of like a cheap celebrity fragrance, to be honest. You know, if this was packaged like the latest from Britney Spears or I don't know, some pop star. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with celebrity fragrances, but it just kind of reminds me of something less expensive. It doesn't scream high fashion, you know, it doesn't scream Armani to me. Like when I look at the cosmetics that Armani puts out and the clothes and like accessories, it's very like luxurious and high end, you know? Like the makeup from Armani is really nice. It's very expensive, but it's really nice. It just smells cheap, to be honest, to me. This is the one that I really don't like at all. Like I would never buy this. And I would love to know what you guys think if you've tried any of these. If you like any of them, you know, what do you like about them? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for more honest reviews on fragrance, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.